Hello everyone, welcome to Pratibha Tech. We are continuing the series based on Java interview questions. In the last video, we saw about public static void main string array arguments concept along with our many interview questions. In this video, we will cover complete understanding on System.out.println and System.out.printf methods. So let's now get started. So the first question that can be asked is explain the statement System.out.println in Java. So before going to the explanation of it, I'll try to give you one small analogy. So suppose we have defined one class here, that is test class. Inside this test class, we have one string variable there that is called str, that is of static type. That means static variable str with of string type, and the value of it I have given as Pratibha Tech, and I want to print the length of this string str. So if you try to see this, then what we are doing, so inside this main method we are calling System.out.println method, but I want you to focus not on that, I want you to focus on this statement System.out, this one test class.str.length of. So here this str is of type static, that is static variable of type string that is present inside test class. So how we are accessing the str? We are accessing the str variable just with the test class. That is the test class name. So for printing the length, we are doing test class dot str. So up to this much we got hold of this str static variable, and what we want to print? We want to print the length of that string. So that's why, since it is of type string, so we can call the any method of string here. That's why we have used test class.str.length of method. So if you try to compare this with the first part of this statement, so don't you think both are similar kind of thing? Here also we are calling System.out.println here, and here we are calling test class.str.length of. So here I have just wanted to compare System.out.println with a different analogy so that it would be better to understand. So here again I am just repeating that test class is a class here, str is a static variable of type string, and length is the method of string type, whatever we are using here. So when we try printing it, when we try running it, we will get the length of this string here, that is 12. Okay, so now let's go back to our slide. Now we will try to go through this statements here, that may answer here. So here to this we can answer System.out.println is a method in Java that is used to print text to the console. It is part of the system class which provides access to the standard input, output and error streams. System is a class which is present in java.lang package that provides access to the standard input, output and error streams. The out is the out field of the system class is a static variable of type print stream that represents the standard output stream which is used for printing text to the console. Println is a method in print stream class which is the data type of out field. The println method is used to print a string to the console followed by a new line character. It takes one argument which is the string to be printed. Therefore, System.out.println is a shorthand way of calling println method of standard output stream. It prints the specified string to the console followed by a new line character. If you don't want to add a new line character, then you can use the other method which is present, that is System.out.print method instead, which is also a method from print stream class. So I hope you would have got it, the what exactly is system out and println here. System is a class, the way if you are comparing again with this one, so this is the class name, so therefore system is also a class name, that is present in java.lang package. Here also we can see when you go to this out, then out is a static variable of type print stream. Here in this pop-up also you can see it is of type print stream here, and println is the method which is present inside the print stream. The way this str variable was a static variable of type string, and length method was present inside this length this string class. Similarly, this println method is present inside print stream class, and that is being referred using out variable here. Okay, so I hope this is clear now. That means what completely is System.out.println. Okay, now let's move to the next question. So here, then the next question can be, what is the difference between System.out.print and System.out.println? So to this we can answer, System.out.print prints text to the console without adding a new line character at the end, while System.out.println adds a new line character at the end of the printed text. For example, System.out.print hello, and we have comma here, and in the next line we have System.out.print world. So to this, in the output will be hello comma world. If we use println, the System.out.println, then we print hello, and in the next line it is println world. So it will be printed in the next line. That means after hello, a new line character will be added. That's why whatever we are trying to print in the next, it will go to the next line. So in general, System.out.print is useful when you want to print multiple pieces of a text on the same line, or when you want to print a partial line of text without starting a new line. Whereas System.out.println is useful when you want to print a complete line of text and move to the next line. Okay, so let's see the working example for this. So if you go to this, so currently I have just kept enabled System.out.print method. So here both the statement are with that only. So if you try running this, so here we can see the output is hello world in the same line. Now let me comment it, and I'll comment the below one. So now it is with the same statement with the println method. So if I try running this now, so here again we can see hello and world. Hello world is printed in two separate lines. So I hope this is clear, the difference between printf and print and println method. So let's move to the next question. So the next question is that, can you explain the parameters of System.out.printf method? Till now we have seen System.out.println and print method, but this is talking about System.out.printf method. So can you explain about the parameters of it? So to this we can answer, System.out.printf method in Java is used to print formatted text to the console. It takes a format string as a first argument, which specifies the format of the output, and one or more additional arguments which provides the values to be printed. The format string contains plain text and format specifier, which are placeholder for the value to be printed. A format specifier begins with this percentile character and is followed by one or more format flags, an optional width specifier, and optional precision specifier, and a conversion character. Here is the syntax of the format specifier. So here it starts with a percentile, so it starts with a percentage sign symbol here. Okay, this character. Apart from that, we can have these many things here. We can have a flag there, we can have a width there, we can have a precision there, and last we have the conversion the conversion character. So flag, width and precision, both all of these are optional only. So we can have either of these or it is fine if we just go with percentage and the conversion. Okay, so let's look at the example of it. So here it is said that string name is Alice, age is 30, salary is it is of double type, which is with this value here. Now if you try to print this, then we can use System.out.print, and here we are using name, just means this is the text which we want to print, and to this the value what it will take. So this part is the format specifier. We are starting with percentage and we are just using conversion character. So here we are saying whatever is there in the first placeholder of this name, that has to be printed as a string. percentile s, this s denotes the type of string. Next, we are trying to print the age. So age we are printing, then we have percentage d. So percentage d will print this age. Age to be printed as an integer value. Okay, so d represents a number or the integer value here. So actually it is trying to print whatever is there in inverted commas, but s, d and f, these are actually acting as a placeholder for all the variables which is just after this formatted string. Okay, similarly we are printing salary here, that is, yeah, but along with this percentile f, which is that percentage and conversion, we have one precision also, that is 0.2. So 0.2 precision means we are just having two characters, that means 2 digits after the decimal one. So if you look at the output of this, then it will be name, then percentage s will be replaced by name here, that value will come here as Alice. Age, the percentage d will be replaced by age value, which is the integer type, so it will come age 30. And next type it will go to salary. Salary will be the same number, but here since we have given precision as 0 and this 0.2, so it will just consider two digits after a decimal point. So the salary will be 12345.68. It is rounded off here after two decimal points. Okay, so now let's move to the next slide. Can you give example of flags, width and precision in format specifier? This can be another question. So now let's look at all of these in detail individually. So what is a flag here? Whenever we are talking about these flags in this format specifier, so if we add plus flag there, then it adds a plus sign to the positive numbers. For example, if we have integer num is equal to 42, then System.out.printf here, along with this percentile and this percentage symbol and d, that is that format specifier, that is conversion type of integer, we are using plus here. So if we are using percentage plus d, then what it does, it adds a plus sign, so the output will be plus 42. Instead of, if you just use percentage d, then it will be 42. Since we have added plus here, so even the output will contain the plus sign there. Okay, minus sign left aligns the output. Here, for example, string name is Pratibha. Here we are having here we have two examples here, two printf statement. So System.out.printf, here we are using percentage sign, then we have 10s. So 10 is actually the width, which we will be seeing again in the next slide. So here, so 10, here we are specifying the width of the total output. Then we have again the conversion flag, the conversion character. So here percentage 10s. So whatever is the value of this here it is Pratibha. So here it is taking total 10 characters here, 10 characters, and it is printing Pratibha. Okay, but if I add a minus flag or the subtraction flag here, minus flag here, then what it does, it left aligns the output. So here if we add this one, then the output of this one is that Pratibha got left aligned here. For this one, for 10s only, it was normally here with the 10 characters width, it was the right aligned, but when we add minus symbol here, it got left aligned here. Okay, next one, if we have this one zero flag, what it does, zero flag pads the output with zeros. For example, here num is equal to 42, and we are printing percentile d with 04. This is there. So what we are doing, we are trying to say that whatever the value of the number here, just make it with 4 digit. This is again the 4 is width, whatever we have seen in the previous one. 4 is the width, but we have added a 0 in front of it. So what it does, so it adds 00 here, because the width should be 4 there, and since we have added 0 here, that means it cannot have the spaces there, white spaces. So instead of that, it adds the padding with the zeros. The 0 flag pads the output with zeros. So here it becomes the width is 4, but since the number contained only 42, so it added 2 zeros in the front of it. Okay, now let's move to the next slide. Now we are continuing with the width here. the example of one which we have seen in the previous slide. So what does the width do? Width specifier specifies the minimum width of the output. This specifier specifies the minimum width of the output. Here again we will see the same example. The name is Alice. In printf we are doing percentage 10s. Now what it does, the same thing which whatever we have seen in the previous slide. That means it defines a width of 10 for this output. So the output starts from here, it goes up to 10 character. Okay. Another example, now we are reducing it to 5, that is percentage 5. So now it is having the width of 5 only, and since the characters also is 5, that's why we do not have any white space either to the left or right of it. So it is specifying the how much width it has to occupy in the console, in the output, in the output console. Okay. If the output is shorter than the specified width, it is padded with spaces or 0 if 0 flag is used. That is already we have seen. See here, here it is 5 characters and we are using 10 width as 10. So that's why it has padded with spaces here. But if we used 0 padding here, then it would have added 0 0 here at the beginning. Okay. So now let's move to the next slide. Now we will be looking at the precision. The precision specifier specifies the number of decimal places for the floating point numbers. Okay. So here the example again we have seen one example in the previous slides. So here it is one more example is here with a double num, that is having 3.14159. This is the value here. But what we do when we use printf method with percentage 0.2f, then we are again trying to just define that the number of digits after the decimal points. So here we are just giving 2 here, so that's why this will be shortened to 3.14 only. That means after decimal point it is considering just 2 precision point. Okay. The precision specifier also affects the output of percentage %e and percentage %g conversion. Okay. So here the another example is this double num 3.14159, and when we are trying to print System.out.println printf with percentage 0.2f, then here with e, then it is taking up to the exponential value in that format. Okay. And similarly we can use percentage g here, so it will, when we try to print this one, then it takes up to the output of 3.1. Okay. So if the precision specifier is omitted, the default precision is used, that is usually the 6 for floating point numbers. Okay. So whatever we have seen in last 3-4 slides, now let's look at the working example of all of it. Format specifier. So now I'll try to run this output. So here we can see when we are trying to print this one Alice here with this was the first example. So again, here again it printed Alice 30 and this again with the precision of 0.25. When we tried giving plus symbol here, then it printed plus 42. When we tried giving this width here with 10, then it took up to 10 characters. When we gave minus symbol here, then it became left aligned. When we tried giving 0 padding here, then it took total width of 4 with the remaining spaces as 0 padding. Similarly for the other outputs as well. Now if you are using some precision here, then again same thing with exponential as well as the 0.2 g values. Okay. So I hope this is you have got complete understanding between of System.out.printf method and what are the different specifiers we use there. Okay. So now let's move to the next question. So here the next question can be, what happens if you call System.out.println and you pass null there? Generally what we do, we try to pass some string arguments so that it gets printed to the console. But what if you try to pass null there? When you call System.out.println null, the output null will be printed on the console. This is because null is a special literal in Java that represents a reference variable with no value or an empty reference. When you pass null as an argument to System.out.println, it is treated as a string literal with value null, and the method will be printed and the method will print this string to the console by a new line. Okay, so here's the example. If we try to print this null here, so it will just try to convert it to consider it as a string value of null, and it will print null only here. Okay, it is worth noting that if you try to call any method or access any property of a null reference, you will get null pointer exception at runtime. So while passing null to System.out.println is valid, but you need to take care of this while dealing with the null references in your code. So when we passed null to this, it will print null. Yeah, but if you are trying to use any variable with the value null, and if you try to use it in anywhere in code, so it might give null pointer exception anytime. Okay, let's move to the next question. So the next question is, how can you redirect the output of System.out.println to a file instead of console? Okay, so now the requirement is that we want the println, that means whatever the string we are passing, instead of printing to console, we want it to be written in a file. To redirect the System.out.println to a file instead of console, you can use System.setOut method to set the standard output stream to a file output stream. Okay, so here is the example. So here what we are doing, here we are creating first a reference of, that means an instance of file output stream, and there we pass the path of the output text where we want to print that text from System.out.println, and again this is being passed as a object to print stream method, and whatever the print stream reference we have got there, that we are using it System.setOut. So this way, and when we try to use this System.out.println, so now since we have redirected this output stream to output.text, so whatever this text we are passing, this will be written to a file that is output.text. Okay, so now let's see the working example of it. Text output. So here the same thing I have just explained there, I have done just that. I have created a file output stream, then created a print stream object, assigned it to out reference, and that again this is being set as set out of system class. So now whatever we are printing, this should go to output.text file instead of printing to the console. Okay, so now let's try running that. If I try running this, so here we can see it has not printed anything to the console. So now let's see where it has printed. So to this, since we have given just the root path of this project, so let's go to this folder itself where this complete project is there. So if you look at this one, then we are inside this Java interview. So here we can see this output text got created. If I try opening this, so see whatever the text is there, welcome to Pratibha Tech, this will be written to the file this. So this has printed in this text file. So this is the same text whatever we have written in System.out.println. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So now let's move to the next question. So what is System.err.println method used for? System.err.println method is used to print error messages or diagnostic messages information to the console or error system. The System.err stream is a print stream object that is intended for error output, and it is separate from standard output stream, that is System.out, which is typically used for regular console output. So here the example that demonstrates the use of System.err.println. So here just we can write some code here which gives an exception, and instead of using System.out.println, we can also use System.err.println. So it will also print this message in the console, but it is considered as printing to the error stream rather than printing to the regular console output. Okay, in this example we catch an exception that may occur in some code block, and we use System.err.println to print an error message along with this exception to the error stream. We also print the stack trace of the exception to the error stream using the print stack trace method of the exception object. Overall, so the System.out.println method is used for printing error message and diagnostic information to the console or error stream in Java applications. So it is similar to System.out.println only, but instead of directly printing the output in normal regular console output, it is intended to stream it to the error stream. Okay, so if you see the example of it, print error. So here we can see instead of out, we are using System.err.println method. So if you try to run this, so it will also give the same output. This one. Here it is given the divided by 0 exception, that error message we have got here. Okay. So here the error occurred. This is the e.get message, whatever we are seeing in the first line. Okay. So this is the one way. Even if you use System.out.println, then also it will print here only. Yeah, but it is the standard way of printing using error method. Error method is that it is considered that it is routed to output stream. Sorry, error stream rather than the normal console output. Okay, so now let's move to the next question. So now we will look at some more difference between System.out and System.err. So in Java, System.out and System.err are two output streams that are used to print messages and data to the console or to other output destinations. The main differences between these two output streams are: first is related to destination. System.out is a standard output stream that is typically used to print normal messages, while System.err is a standard error stream that is typically used to print error messages and diagnostic information. Second difference is related to redirection. System.out is usually redirected to a file or other file destination by default, while System.err is usually displayed on the console or error stream by default. This means if you want to capture or redirect error messages, you need to explicitly redirect System.err to a file or to other output destination. Third difference is related to color. Some console may color code or format System.err message differently than System.out messages to make them more visible or distinguishable. Fourth difference is related to order. Because System.out and System.err are separate streams. The order in which messages are printed on the console may be dependent on the timing and the sources of the messages. So in general, you should use System.out for normal messages and System.err for error messages and diagnostic information. To follow more convention, it is and make it easier to distinguish between different types of output. However, it is also important to be aware that the differences between these two streams and to use them appropriately depend upon your application requirements. Okay, let's move to the next question. So how can you prevent output buffering in Java when using System.out.println? In Java, output buffering can sometimes cause delays and unexpected behavior when using System.out.println to print messages to console and other output destination. To prevent output buffering in Java, you can use flush method of the println method of print stream object to immediately write any buffered output to underlying streams. Here's the example of how to prevent output buffering in Java. So here what we are doing, we are creating a print stream object with auto flush enabled. So we are creating print stream reference here, which is out. We are trying to assign an object of new print stream and we are setting that System.out to true. Now use the print stream object to print messages with immediate flushing. So now what we do, we write out.println this method and we write out.flush. So it is saying that this method will be printed immediately. You can also set auto flush mode to true for an existing print stream object. So this was one comment for that. But if you try to use System.out.println, this message may be buffered. System.out.flush. So in this example, we create a new print stream object with auto flush mode enabled by passing true as the second argument of to the constructor. We then use the new print stream object to print messages with immediate flushing by calling println method followed by a flush method. Alternatively, you can enable auto flush mode for an existing print stream by calling flush method after printing a message, as shown in the second part of the example, this one. So even we can see a working example for this. So output buffering, this one. So we have created the same thing, the same code is here. We have created a reference of print stream, and that we are we are passing the messages here with System.out, and that autoflush enable mode enable true is enabled by passing true as the second parameter to this constructor. So let's try running this. So here, since we are having very small code here, that's why both appear to be printed immediately. But if you are using this auto flush enable, then it will print immediately without any buffering. But the second one, it may cause some kind of buffering here. But since we do not have any, this code is very small and the output is one liner, that's why it is very difficult to figure out the difference. Okay, but the concept is that only. Okay, so this was in this question. So here, so how can you, next question is how can you disable output to the console when using System.out.println in Java? So in Java, you can disable output to the console when using System.out.println by redirecting the standard output stream to a null stream. A null stream is a stream that discards all data written to it. So any input sent to the standard output stream will simply be discarded instead of being displayed on the console. So here is an example to show how to redirect the standard output stream to null stream. So what we do, we are creating an object of null output stream, and that we pass to the constructor of print stream, and here again that we are setting to here set out method of null. You remember in the previous example where we redirected the text to a text file. There we used that output stream there we used the object output stream, and we passed the path of the output text file there. But here what we do, we are creating an object of null output stream here. And when we are setting the outputs in the set out object as this out, then what will do, it will discard all the messages that has been written to this output stream, because we are passing the null output stream here. So when we try to print this will not be printed to the console. Okay, so let's complete this one, then we'll see working example. So once we have set the standard output to the null stream, any output sent to System.out.println will be discarded and will not be displayed on the console. Note that you can restore the standard output stream to its original value anytime by calling System.set.out to the original value. That means instead of passing this one, we can go back to setting the original value where it used to print to the console. Okay, so let's see the working example of this. Disable output. So here we created an instance of a new null output stream that we are assigning to the constructor of print stream, and whatever the reference we get, that we are setting in System.set.out method. Now when we try running this, so it is saying that this will not be printed to the console. So let me try running it. So we can see we have not got anything in the console. That means it has not printed anywhere. The difference between this and the text output is that here we used file output stream, but in this one we have used null output stream. So in case of file output stream, it printed the text to this file. But since we are using null output stream, it will completely discard the messages written to it. Okay, so this was disable output, and nothing has been displayed in the console. So now let's move to the slide here. So here if you move ahead, so here as a summary to this System.out.println and printf method, we can say we discussed various aspects of using System.out.println method in Java, including the syntax and how to format using flag, width and precision. We also explored the differences between System.out and System.err and how to prevent buffering or disable output to the console. Additionally, we talked about the behavior of System.out.println by passing null and how to handle it. Okay, so that's all in this video. If you have any doubt, please comment on this video. I'll try my best to answer that in a simple terms as much as possible. In the next video, I will be covering in detail the differences between JDK, JRE and JVM in Java. Please like, comment and share the video, and please subscribe to the channel for more upcoming videos and many more useful concepts. Thanks a lot for watching.